if the ceiling is taller, it allows for taller people to be in there. And you can think of it the same way with volume. The more power there is, the more room there is for more output and less clipping, so less hitting your head on the ceiling. Into the BUNKNOWN, episode 2. Bigger is better, more is more, all that kind of stuff when it comes to amps and low tuning. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you around. So the first thing to consider is level of output available and how that's relevant to this whole low tuning thing, low frequencies. I noticed in the last video, there's a few comments and people don't really understand this, and it's very important to understand. Bass frequencies, low frequencies, require more electrical energy to be reproduced. So there's a reason why subwoofers and subwoofer amplifiers and PA rigs are more powerful and why they are so easy to clip if they're not managed properly and all these sorts of things. Low frequency requires more energy, and higher frequencies require less energy. Every order of octave up from a fundamental note requires less and less energy. I don't know the exact physics. It could be half. Anybody who understands that physics in a very clear way, I have studied it, I just don't really remember everything clearly. So in reproducing lower frequencies in a clearer way, it makes sense that a larger capacity amplifier, an amplifier with more headroom, probably hear this term headroom all the time. I know for a lot of people it's like, what the hell is headroom? Why do you keep talking about headroom? Well, it's really simple. You can just think of it as standing in a room. If you are in a basement apartment, there is only a certain height of person that can fit in that room. And if you're on a main floor or whatever, if the ceiling is taller, it allows for taller people to be in there. And you can think of it the same way with volume. The more power there is, the more room there is for more output and less clipping, so less hitting your head on the ceiling. So that's all headroom means. Comparing a 50-watt amplifier and a 100-watt amplifier, the difference is that with a 50-watt amplifier, the power amp will clip faster, sooner. Less output, less headroom in order to reproduce whatever notes are available, whatever sound is available. So turning the amp up, it will clip faster. The power amp will clip faster than a 100-watt amp that has twice the amount of output. So twice the amount of headroom. So the whole point of a higher powered amplifier isn't necessarily to have more volume of output, but to have a clearer, tighter bottom end. That is another reason why you might want to have a 100-watt power amp over a 50-watt power amp. Yeah, it's not always about being louder. A reason you might want to go the opposite way is because maybe you want the bottom end to saturate and the bottom end to be a little bit more softer and rounder and more friendly. Maybe you don't want a tight, chunking bottom or what have you. Like, it's all about what you want to do creatively. You know, are you an artist or are you a technical person and you just want everything to be to spec? I don't know. I'm having a hard time talking because my mouth is dry. I need some water. And I'm carrying this amp and it's tiring me out. We also covered speakers quite at length in the last video, but a bunch of folks brought up, you know, oh, well, I use my bass speakers and all this sort of thing. Definitely covered that, but maybe not in a meaningful way. So let's talk about speakers in a more meaningful way. A big part of what makes a guitar sound is the speaker cabinet. And I will say the same about a bass type of sound. Like a favorable bass sound for myself as a producer, the speakers are super important, and I will not mix them. I will use guitar speakers, specific ones for guitar sounds, and specific bass speakers for bass sounds. And it makes a massive difference to me as a producer. It depends what you want to do creatively, so there's no rules or law, but there is a huge difference aesthetically and artistically, and as well technically. One of the things someone brought up was like, oh, you know, my bass speakers can handle a whole lot more, and that's true. They're rated way higher. Why does a tiny little combo amp fart out and get all loose and not sound very good? Little amps, little combo amps, you know, that's what they are. They're not big amps. They're not made to handle very much. So if you throw a whole bunch of bottom at them, or even a whole bunch of gain, or even a whole bunch of volume, they're gonna break up. And you could say sort of the same thing between guitar speaker cabinets and bass speaker cabinets. Bass speaker cabinets are rated for way more power handling. So there are very powerful guitar speaker cabinets. They're available, but they're not as common. With bass speaker cabinets, the ratings are typically very high, unless it's like a little combo practice amp, then usually not so much. If you want that bass kind of EQ curve, bass kind of sound on your guitar tone, then use a bass cabinet. If you want a guitar type of tone, then use a guitar cabinet. And this extends to IRs, impulse responses. It doesn't have to be a physical, actual cab. Definitely a guitar cabinet, like a 2x12 cabinet, a 4x12 cabinet, two 4x12 cabinets, what have you. They will perform better than a little combo amp, unless that combo amp has a really high rated speaker, which sometimes they do, but usually they don't. But with bass speakers, even a little combo amp will have a higher rating than a guitar combo amp. But generally speaking, bass speakers are rated higher for higher handling. What you choose that way is going to make a big difference in the sound, and also how the instrument reacts and is placed in the mix and all that kind of stuff. The sound that you get in the room, just playing the guitar by itself, is way different than the sound that you need in a mix. Playing in a band in a room or playing on a recording, two totally different things. It's getting loud. A huge part of the topic to consider. A lot of people base their preferences on listening to the amp by itself, never playing it with other people. I highly suggest cross-checking everything you try with those sorts of things. Got that Trinity Bellwoods going, crossing the road. It's all very dangerous. But, oh, the band is playing. Let's go check it out. So, this band, they play in the park almost every weekend now. And the drummer is Great Bob Scott, famous Toronto drummer, awesome dude. And yeah, we're gonna check it out. I know. Yeah. So is bigger better? In a lot of cases, yes, but it depends on what you want to do artistically. So that is the clincher right there. But when you know differently, then you can make better artistic decisions. If you like what's going on, click that bell for notifications of new content, and you know, subscribe. Would love to have you around.